today's discussion is on a set of activities which can be used with children having deaf-blindedness, so that later on in life they can acquire out a set of adaptive skills. When you talk about the concept of sensory integration, then the concept is like I'll be using my senses to create out a meaning so as to have an adaptive behavior or a understanding about my environment. Right?
Yes, sir.
That's it, no?
Yes, sir.
So we know that there will be 7 senses, 5 far and 2 near senses.
Yes.
Now in a person who is deafblind, 2 of the far senses, that is vision and
Yes.
hearing, are gone.
Yes.
So he is left out with 3 far senses and 2 near senses. Vestibular, proprioceptive near senses, and smell, taste and touch far senses. So 5 senses. So all the activities which you will be doing shall be using out these 5 senses, so that idea about what is the activity about and what is the thing about, which could have been obtained through the visual and auditory sense,
Auditory.
are compensated for.
Yes.
So these are the activities which you have brought in. Let's say the first activity is textured blanket. Now if a child is left over a textured blanket, why do you think it would be beneficial for the child in the long term for adaptive skills? It would be beneficial because it would be beneficial in terms of selecting out the type of shirt the person would be wearing or choosing from a shop. Let's say the inner garments, they have a different texture. The shirt would be having a different texture. The jacket which the person would be wearing would be having a different texture. It's simple. A mask to be purchased out, just by touching it, he should be knowing whether to go for it or not to go for it. That particular information should come up down there from childhood, where the child has played with a set of textured inputs, which can be exposed in form of a textured blanket. So later on, this textured blanket play actually would be adaptive and survival in nature, especially for a deaf-blind person who may not be using out language as well. Okay. Similarly, the second activity which you have put up is a sensory shirt. Now, this sensory shirt would be something like this: a shirt which would be having different materials which are hung to it. Activities of daily living, the materials which are used on a regular purpose. Materials like, which are the materials which would be hung into this?
Like common objects, like pen can be used, or small ball. Like every day, the child will be exploring.
Okay, so that daily material are put on this. The child has an opportunity to hold it again and again,
And
to go
feel
through
the
it,
objects.
feel it, so that he gets a fair idea about what are the different things which are used in the day-to-day activity and how to use them.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's the primary idea. So this sensory shirt later on would be giving him a fair idea about the things around him. It becomes easy for the child. The third activity would be weighted blankets. Means blankets having what?
Filled with sand or ball bearings.
Okay.
So basically, they add some weight to the.
Okay. So blanket which would be filled up with sand or ball bearings. Now once you put on these blankets, naturally it will be pressing upon your body and you will be getting a boundary of your body. Right?
Yes, sir.
So that means all the joints, all the bones, you know that okay, this is the boundary of your body again and again, because there's a thing which is pressing against it.
Yes.
So that in turn gives you an idea about knowing how far, how distant things are, and if you stretch your hand, how far it goes. If you take a step, how far it goes. So it actually sensitizes you about your body. So hence weighted blankets are there. So you can always add up some activities in terms of the weighted blankets. Now what are the activities which you can do once you put a weighted blanket? Then what? You can hold the child and you can ask the child to push out things, or what are the activities that you do inside it?
Initially to make the child tolerate to the weighted capsules, so at least for 5-10 minutes, we'll just make the child wrap in the blanket and we'll just place the child to become comfortable.
Yes.
Later on, we can leave the hands alone, so that the child can like how you had suggested,
Do certain activities.
can reach out and grab objects. So with different heights or different distance, we can keep the object. So
Okay.
initially, this much the child is reaching, you keep an object. So still the child will get a feedback. Okay, so this object I am able to reach here and I am able to get. The next object can be placed a little bit
Far
far
out.
out.
Okay. So these weighted blankets also have a calming effect
Yes.
on many children because it is stimulating out quite a number of joints. It has a calming effect and it has an alerting effect also. That particular balance where the child would be ready and will not be very dull, will not be very aggressive also. That particular state is achieved. Okay. So weighted blankets is one activity. The next would be the activity known as tactile matching game. That means things of similar textures are to be matched
Yes,
out
and the
together.
child has to touch and the child has to match
Mhm.
based on the texture. What
Based on the
how he
texture.
recognizes.
So in the long term, again, a person who is deafblind or you and me also tend to choose out quite a number of things. The leather of this particular sofa, whether it's okay or not, and how a particular thing feels. That has to be stored in the mind, and this the basis of this starts developing out in the tactile matching game. And especially for a deafblind child, it is important because like other children, he cannot keep going here and there and selecting out things. So things have to be brought to him, a variety has to be given to him so as to help him understand about things around him through all those 5 senses which are left out. Okay. So the next game would be a game which is known as Know and Know the Smell. So you are having different types of things and in which the child has to smell out things and name it out, or he has to identify out what it is. Very survival in nature. A small child just moves around here and there, picks up things, smells it out, knows whether to eat it or not, whether to reject it, or what is that, how to behave with certain things, especially when it is to be taken into the mouth, because it is again survival in nature. You cannot take everything into the mouth. So smell is the sense which is essential. Exposing the child with deafblindness to multiple variety of smell is a good exercise. Later on, he can identify out based upon certain smells what is the environment like, and especially what is to be eaten or not eaten. Like we cross out the overbridge while going to the airport. There is it's a talcum powder factory or
Yes,
something.
yes.
No? So it was my daughter actually who said that the moment we cross this, there's a nice smell which comes in. So I have crossed 100 number of times, but I was not sensitive towards it. Now a deafblind person who cannot see things, if is made sensitive about it, will be knowing about the different places where he is going in. So it's again helping the child or adult to learn out the places around him. The next game is taste and know. Naturally, different tastes have to be given to the child, and he should be knowing
You
out.
have to explore the different tastes.
Yes, and this particular taste is associated with which kind of fruit, vegetable, which kind of eatable is something which needs to be known in. Name of the activity: rock the baby. Here you have shown a therapy ball, and the child is on the therapy ball. Why do you do it? It is to stimulate
Vestibular
the vestibular sense as well as the proprioceptive sense as well, because a young baby or a toddler, if he has the visual and the auditory senses, would be just going around here, there, and would be exploring out, would be climbing things, would be sliding on things, would be exploring out his proprioception and vestibular sense to navigate through the environment. But a person who is deaf-blind naturally would be restricted out, will not be moving so frequently. Hence it is essential that a therapy ball is used and different types of stimulation are given. Different tilt in the body is to be done so that the child knows about how the joints behave out, how the other part of the body would be doing if the child is taken to a particular side or is moved to a particular side, and how the adaptive behaviors would be happening. So this is also a good game to stimulate the proprioceptive and vestibular senses. Rock the baby on a therapy ball. The next is bursting bubbles. Now you're talking about bubbles. What? These bubbles or the bubbles
The
from
other one, the
thermocol?
bubble wrap.
Okay, the bubble wrap. So the moment you start pressing them and breaking them, then your prehension skills, which are very important for a person who is deaf-blind, is he gets a chance to explore them. So each of the fingertips can be used out to burst the bubbles, and the strength develops. We start knowing about the different joints which are there and how to manipulate them. Similarly, the next activity would be scented play doh. So we have many play doh which are colored, which are scented also. So the child again would be exploring out his prehension
Proprioception
skills.
as well as smell.
Proprioception and smell. So he will be integrating out. Similarly, a series of activities can be done with the deafblind population, so as to empower the deafblind population to use out the remnant senses to get idea about the environment and develop adaptive behaviors later in life. So an occupational therapist does it very well, and our attempt is to collate out all the activities which can be specifically done with the deafblind population to empower them to live a independent life. Right?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Dinkar.